While the Roman Empire crumbled, another civilization was reaching its peak in the jungles of Central America. Europe languished in the Dark Ages, but the Maya were building skyscrapers. For centuries, human voices sounded in this wilderness, and hundreds of cities towered above the trees. The culture produced magnificent art and a complex written language. An understanding of astronomy and mathematics is reflected in a calendar nearly as accurate as our own. But beginning around 800 AD, something happened. One by one, many of the great cities were abandoned. A team of archaeologists has come to the rainforests of Guatemala to study the ancient Maya. Director of the expedition is Vanderbilt University professor Arthur Demarest.
This project has a single research focus. The whole project is trying to address the question of the Maya collapse. Why the Maya civilization collapsed. It's one of the great enigmas of archaeology. Here we're talking about a sophisticated culture, and a century later, in many areas, it's uninhabited rainforest. That is a collapse.
Demarest's project is focused on the final centuries of the civilization, when the city of Tikal was among the greatest of Maya centers. Hieroglyphs from this period tell the story of a group of noblemen who left Tikal around 600 AD. They may have been led by a prince, expelled from the kingdom after losing a battle for the throne. For days, the royal exiles traveled deep into the jungle. About 60 miles from Tikal, in an area called the Patesh Batun, they established a new kingdom, Dos Pilas. Demarest believes that Dos Pilas holds important clues to the collapse of Maya civilization. To get to the remote city, the researchers follow much the same route as the ancient founders. The last leg of the journey is a 4-hour trek through dense rainforest.
I think this is one of the last projects that is really like the old expeditionary archaeology that people think of when they think of Indiana Jones or the expeditions into the jungle. So it's almost embarrassing being a Maya archaeologist because they really fit the stereotype of the lost civilization, their temples overgrown with jungle.
It took more than a year for Demarest's team to build the base camp at Dos Pilas. 13 buildings now house 23 archaeologists and more than 80 workers. Many of the laborers hired to excavate the broken temples are themselves descendants of the ancient Maya. Each morning, teams are dispatched to a dozen separate sites around the ruined city. One of the most significant discoveries so far is an extraordinary stone structure. A stairway covered with hieroglyphic writing.
No, it's not damaged at all. It was great. The stairway, I think, is one of the most important monuments that's been found in the study of Maya history. It is a large, perfectly preserved hieroglyphic text, and on it, it talks about a series of wars, battles, and conquests involving Dos Pilas. It's a tremendous piece of information, and its decipherment, I think, is going to change the way we look at this very critical period in Maya history.
Built by the first ruler of Dos Pilas, the stairway is a sacred monument that celebrates great events in the kingdom's history. It is considered invaluable for the story it tells. But there's something else here that Demarest finds intriguing. At some time, late in the city's history, a stone wall was constructed right on top of the elaborate walkway. Demarest believes the mysterious wall may be an important clue to what happened at Dos Pilas, if he can explain why it was built. As workers remove the stones from the stairs, new hieroglyphs are revealed.
I think you can get it out now.
Need a little trowel work in here. There's one. That's the one we've got to remove.
There's two. There's one right up against the glyph.
Okay, there's one.
Steve Houston and David Stewart are the specialists in Maya hieroglyphic decipherment. It's a very rare specialization, and this project has two of the best.
It's really...
This is what we've got to remove.
If we go in from above...
They are
Yeah,
able,
we're gonna have to get
as
more
we
of this.
find monuments, to read them.
Yeah, that's...
There you go.
There it is. I think... It just peels right off. Look at that. Okay, let's get some root cutters. What we know so far is that there are a lot of different war events, and they mention a number of different people. All of them are important. They're from different sites, and they tell us about basically that they're not getting along with each other.
The carvings tell the story of the early years of Dos Pilas. Almost as soon as the kingdom was begun, Ruler 1 set out to make a name for himself by attacking the great city of Tikal. Stones still cover much of the stairway, but when the wall is completely removed, the hieroglyphs may surrender even more of the history of this aggressive kingdom. Already, many things have been learned from the Dos Pilas ruins. This overgrown field was once the heart of a pulsing city. At its height, as many as 10,000 people may have lived in Dos Pilas and the surrounding countryside. Kings and other royalty resided in the great palaces, and the huge central plaza served as a gathering place for elaborate public ceremonies. Here, important events, such as royal births and ascensions to the throne, were celebrated with one of the most sacred of Maya rituals, genital bloodletting. The Maya believed their gods were sustained by the blood of mortals, especially of kings. During the complex ritual, the king bled onto special paper that was then burned. In the rising smoke, the Maya could see their gods and communicate with them. Evidence of the Maya obsession with blood has been found throughout Dos Pilas. These intricately carved tools are thought to be blades used in bloodletting and sacrificial ceremonies. Religious rituals not only took place before huge crowds in the plaza. Smaller ceremonies were held underground, in caves. Demarest's team discovered so many caves beneath Dos Pilas that specialist Jem Brady was brought in to assist in their exploration.
The first time I walked in the cave was an amazing experience, because this is the kind of site that a cave archaeologist dreams about. This is what you're always looking for. This is what you're always hoping to find. When you walk in and you're the first person there for 1,200 years, and it's just the way they left it, everything intact. Okay. Here we are. Watch your head. It's a narrow one.
Oh, look at this.
Isn't this something? Be careful that you can see it's cracked. Yeah, it's...
Remnants of ceremonies performed over 1,000 years ago lie exactly as they were left.
Look at this.
I thought you'd like that.
It's like a museum.
We saved the best for last.
Perfectly preserved.
It's gorgeous. Let me see it. Great. Look at this. Looks like it's been burned on the inside. It's hard to believe it's been there for 1,200 years.
In some cave rituals, freshly made pottery was broken as an homage to gods and dead ancestors. Brady speculates that a small group stood chanting in the darkness. They smashed the pots, one by one, onto the ground. When each vessel broke open, its spirit was released and could pass into the unseen world.
Okay. Alejandro?
But pottery isn't the only discovery here. Evidence of more sinister rituals is also unearthed.
The bones are very interesting in the cave, not because they're unusual. That's quite common to have remains of human beings. What is surprising is the quantity that appears to be showing up. They speak of human sacrifice within caves. It'll probably turn out to be the most individuals ever reported from a Maya cave.
It's thought that human sacrifice was practiced to appease the gods and celebrate victory in battle. Frequently, the victims were the defeated kings and noblemen of neighboring cities.
And not 5.
These royal sacrifices were often recorded on monuments, such as the hieroglyphic stairway. Workers have now cleared away enough of the wall to read a new section of writing.
Look, and there it is. Yeah, this author refers to a kind of altar.
Some of the hieroglyphs here have never been seen before.
And look, it's a
There's
step.
a stairway.
It's a step.
Yeah, that's
It's 2 steps.
That's the
This is
pyramid.
the actual name of this stairway.
Look, Steve. This is the yay glyph
Yeah,
with Ba.
it's a
Yebal, it's his stairway.
Yeah.
And then somehow the ruler of Tikal is involved.
But here, the important thing is the alliance has got something to do with war against Tikal. And
The
obviously
carvings revealed that the king of Tikal was captured and sacrificed, but his city was not seized.
This is a Yahoo.
During this period, battles were seldom waged to gain territory. Instead, war was a bloody game played by kings.
Saldo, hola. ¿Qué tiene? What you got here? Look at this. It's some kind of a throne.
Look how incredible the sculpture is.
Initially, it seems that Maya warfare was ritualized. Judging from the monuments and the hieroglyphics, it seems that one of the principal purposes of war was to capture a king from another center and to sacrifice him with great fanfare, and then to erect monuments throughout your kingdom bragging about it. Literally, these guys dressed up in silly outfits, archaic costumes with big Paleolithic spears, and went out there and knocked each other around. One of them was captured and brought back and sacrificed. These carryings on of the elite probably didn't affect your average farmer very much, probably didn't affect the landscape very much.
But the very nature of Maya warfare was changing. By the time of Ruler II, Dos Pilos was actually taking over other kingdoms.